Welcome back to JCR Garage. This time I'm going to show you a series on how to buy a cheap car, fix it, and flip it for a lot of profit. So if you have watched this channel before, mostly the last couple of videos and a bit further, at least when I've been doing Volvos, you will have seen this thing either sitting in the background or being talked about in some form. Now, this is a 1983 Volvo 240 with a B23A engine. B23A is a 2.3 liter with a carburetor, the Stromberg carburetors. And this car has been sitting since 2002. It has had one single owner from 1986 up until 2002 when it was deregistered and parked. I have found inside the car the paperwork for a test plate, like one of those, in 2008 when it was driven to a body shop to have to drive back home after the person delivered his Mercedes. So, this car has pretty much been sitting. It has 400,124 kilometers on it, which is a lot. But it is a red block Volvo, which means the engine is most likely not going to care at all. And having one owner since 1986, it has been well taken care of, which shows there's not a lot of rust. It has a few spots every here and there, and that is what we're going to fix, along with some missing trim. The door on the driver's side has probably been bent backwards because you can see it has a massive dent in it. And it has even been scraping on the front fender, giving that a bit of a dent as well right here. So when I scrapped that 1975 245, I took that door with the intention of putting it on this car if it came to buying this thing, which I have done. I actually did it the same night that the 245 was sent to the scrapyard. So I got this thing then for double the scrap value in Norway, which is 3,000 kroner, meaning I paid 6 for it. And winter is coming, and well, everyone wants a winter beater. Now, so the way I see it, I can sell this thing in two markets. Being as good as it is, it has gone 400k, but that can be looked away from given the rest of the car's state. Of course, like I said, there's not a lot of rust. It is pretty good cosmetically. It has, the few rust spots around where it will have gotten stone chips. But what we're going to do is we're going to pull the bumpers off and the black trim on the side and repaint everything from underneath those and down to get rid of all the rust spots. We're not going to do the front fenders because those we're just going to do a little bit where there is rust and not do the entire thing, but we're going to do the rear quarter panels and the back doors and the front doors. That entire front door needs paint. Now we are going to have to cut and weld some parts there to get the lock mechanism and a few other things to fit. But we're going to get that done and then get the car door back on the car and paint it. So what I'm doing is I've removed all the rust on the bottom edge of the door. I've pulled all the trim fasteners and stuff out of the door, and pretty much it's just a door shell at this point. Window mechanism's out, the window itself is out, all the trim, everything is out. There's a pile over there with 75 parts, and there's a pile over here with 83 parts, which means all that is going back into that door. Still have to pull the window mechanism out of this door, as well as the blue and the red little plastic clip things, because those are for the interior door handle. Those don't fit from the 1973 and the 74, to the 83. So I'm going to have to pull the 83 fasteners, put it in the 74-5 door. And then there's all the other few things that are going to need to be fixed. But now we are working on the door, getting it prepped for paint that we got today. It is the same color that they use on XC90s today. It's white or what was it? Pearl white? Frost white. Something like that. It is the 189 color code. And on Volvos, quick tip, color code is right there. It is a the light is gonna screw this up. As you can see there, 189-2. -2 is interior color. 189 is exterior color. White. These stripes, we can get those in a 10-meter roll, which means get all that fixed. We end up with the other side looking like this. And the car is a pretty nice and complete car. It's missing taillights. It was missing the blinker handle, which I have fixed already with the blinker handle out of the 75. So that is now working. Problem is, I don't have turn signals because every time I put the new 8-amp fuse in there and turn the key on, it pops it. Which most likely is a problem with the instrument cluster because that is also connected to the same fuse. So instrument cluster probably gets power and then cuts the fuse because it has probably a direct to ground somewhere behind the dashboard. So I'm going to have to pull that out. I'll look at it. But right now we are working on the door, getting it prepped for paint. This is beige, this is white, this needs to get white. Because we bought that can of paint for painting the door and the bottom of it. It's a half a liter and it costs 500 kroner, which if you've ever tried to get your car painted, you would know that it's not cheap. But when you have kind of a deal with one of the local auto body shops, you would know that, well, you get it cheaper, so you can fix stuff. Because they do know that we paint stuff ourselves. And we often buy paint from them for just painting cars we work on. Like the turbo tank Volvo. That I bought 4 liters of, I think it's RAL 6020. I think it's 6020. It's called Chrome Green. And if you just Google RAL Chrome Green, you get the number. I think it's 6020. But 4 liters of that costs 2,200 kroner. That is actually pretty cheap for 4 liters. And we ended up using 2 to paint the entire car. So we still have 2 liters left of that. That's used for, well, painting every here and there on that car by brush. So let's get to it with this door. Alright, so we have finished up work on the door. The doors have been sanded down to bare metal at every single rust spot and will be treated with counter rust. There is a slight part that has to come out of the old door to be welded back into there because you can see the hole doesn't match. That is all we have time for this time. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video about the Volvo.